Hi there, my name is Brittany Barger, and this is What's Today? Today is March 3rd, 1931, and the United States of America has a new national anthem, the Star-Spangled Banner. Ever heard of it? Do you have a part-time passion, something you love to do, but not something that you can pay the bills with? Well, that was the case for Maryland native Francis Scott Key. For Francis, the key to his happiness was writing poetry during his off hours when he wasn't being a full-time lawyer. That was until the War of 1812 came around. You might be familiar with the War of 1812. It was the first ever declared war by the United States, and it was fought against by our on-again, off-again BFFs, Britain. It was the second year of the War of 1812. That makes it the year 1814 for you math whizzes. And on September 7th, the 35-year-old Francis Scott Key was on board the British flagship, the HMS Tonnant. He was sent there to secure prisoner release of his friend, William Beans. How you like those beans? The prisoner negotiations went very well, and Francis secured his friend's release. But while discussing the matter, Francis Scott Key and his BFF, John Skinner, overheard some attack plans. Turns out the British were about to blast the crap out of Maryland city, Baltimore. And now that Key and Skinner knew that, they weren't allowed to leave. They weren't prisoners, exactly. And to make matters worse, Francis Scott Key and his BFFs had to watch Baltimore get blasted by British cannon fire all night. The British even attempted a land invasion with ground troops, but were turned back by American forces. And Francis watched all of this from his ship's porthole. He saw British cannons firing, he saw bombs bursting in air, and the next morning, when the firing had stopped and the smoke had cleared, Francis Scott saw something else. Francis Scott Key saw something else. He saw that the flag was still there. Those aren't just poetic words. They're a first-person depiction of a major U.S. battle. The flag mentioned still waving in air was flying over Fort McHenry, the same fort that repelled British forces the night before. When Francis saw that flag, he was hit by a wave of inspiration. He pulled out a letter from his jacket pocket, grabbed a quill, and wrote down the first words that came to mind. He wrote a poem right then and there. Today, people mostly use notes in their iPhone, but it's basically the same thing. Francis went to the Indian Queen Hotel where he dotted some I's and crossed some T's. The finished poem will become the Star-Spangled Banner we know and love today. That's right. America's national anthem was written down on a whim, in a moment of inspiration, on a spare piece of paper by a lawyer, with a passion for poetry the night after his city was bombarded. That's pretty freaking cool. The poem would take on a new life when it was added to a tune. It was a popular drinking song in taverns across the world. Nope, not world, country. Until eventually today, on March 3rd, 1931, the US Congress adopted it as the national anthem. An inspirational moment recorded by a passionate American will go on to inspire patriotism for hundreds of millions of Americans worldwide. Score one for the amateurs. That's it for today's episode. If you would like to watch more episodes of What's Today, subscribe to the show. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram if you haven't already. And remember, every day was just a normal day until somebody made it special. Thanks for watching.